Back here with expert picks. I was going to say expert hot takes on CBS Sports HQ. The picks continue, though. The hot takes, perhaps those will continue as well. We have a monster matchup on CBS. Bills, Lions, Sunday, 4:25 Eastern on CBS. Perhaps a Super Bowl preview, if you will. We could see that. One of the many exciting matchups, and we're going to continue to pick all of those here on CBS Sports HQ. I'm Jacqueline D'Agostino, Chris Hassel, Kyle Long, and Pete Prisco. Again, a matchup between two serious Super Bowl contenders. Kind of a pick-em. Lions are favored by 1.5. Pete, what is your gut telling you about this? I know you've been high on the Bills really all season long, but this Lions team is no joke as well.
Oh, the Lions are very good, particularly on offense. I think this thing goes up and down the field. I think this is going to be one of those games where you sit back and you go, okay, one who gets a break or last team with the ball wins it. And I think Buffalo, the way they're playing, this is Josh Allen's moment to solidify himself the MVP. I think he does play really well. Both defenses have issues, but I think the injuries on the Lions defense will really show up here. I think in the end, it's Josh Allen. He gets the job done, and they win the game outright.
Yeah, you know what? I think the same thing. And whichever one of these groups stubs their toe offensively first, and even if that means taking 3 instead of 7, that's going to be the key determining factor in this football game. And I know that with Dan Campbell's attitude and his mindset, he's going to be understanding that that defense is thin for the Detroit Lions. They need to match production. So like we saw this past week against the Packers, we're going to see an even more aggressive version of Dan Campbell in this football game.
Please.
That being said, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
Maybe he'll go for it.
Josh Allen's unbelievable. I mean, and I think we're going to end up watching a game like we saw with Matt Stafford against Josh Allen this past week. Football fans are in for a treat again.
Maybe he'll go for it on his own 29. Nah, the coaches don't do that and give the other team point-blank points. I mean, come on.
This line kind of tells you, though, that, I mean, the Bills will be favored on a neutral field.
Yep.
Well, this version of the Lions, I mean, if Hutchinson and Anzalone and all those guys...
They have had injuries every week.
Every week.
We made a huge deal about Aiden Hutchinson getting injured and that being the thing that's going to stop this defense. But they went out. Aaron Glenn had a great plan, manufacturing pressure. But they've had guys go down every single week.
Also on CBS, if you don't get that game, you might get this one. Colts at Broncos, big game in the wild card race. If the Colts can win this, they would only be a game behind the Broncos for that last playoff spot.
This is their season on the line for the Colts right here. I mean, this is essentially a playoff game for them. They're both coming off byes, so it doesn't give either one an advantage. But I just think the Broncos have the better defense. I think Anthony Richardson's going to have problems with this defense. I like the Broncos in this spot. Bo Nix will play well. I'll take Denver.
By the way, it's an equestrian's dream, this game, Colts and Broncos. A lot of horses out there on the football field. That being said, I love the defense of the Denver Broncos. I think Bo Nix is cut out for big-time games like this. He understands the culture in a gotta-have-it situation. So does Sean Payton. I really trust the Denver Broncos to get the win in this one and to cover.
All right, and then the Patriots and the Cardinals. The Patriots really not much to play for at this point, except maybe some draft picks. The Cardinals barely hanging on in that divisional race. It is a tight race, though. But Kyle, are you going with the Cardinals here to cover?
I am going to go with the Cardinals. There's too many question marks I have about this New England Patriots program. Obviously not the quarterback. I love this guy Drake May, but at the end of the day, I scratch my head every time I see Gerard Mayo at the presser. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out what the vibe is inside that locker room. I won't know because I'm not in the building. But when you've got that disjointed nature, when you've got a finger pointing at the podium, I have questions about this group. And I don't see that happening in Arizona. I like the Cardinals in this spot.
I like the Cardinals as well. They haven't played very well, though. And Kyler Murray the last couple of weeks has been very concerning to me. I mean, he just hasn't looked like the same guy that we saw before this little fall off.
We had to play Mike McDonald's defense 2 weeks.
2 out of 3 weeks, and I think that's concerning for them. But I do think they'll find a way here. Even though the Patriots are coming off a bye, I'm going to take Arizona here.
Yeah, Murray, 3 touchdown passes in the last 3 games, all losses to 5 interceptions. We got Super Bowl 59 coming up, and Jacqueline wrote down here in the notes that it's been 59 years since the Steelers won a game in Philadelphia, and this is a game here on Sunday at 4:25 Eastern.
That's a ridiculous stat.
It really is.
There.
1965.
That's no George Pickens. I'm still going to go with the Steelers. I just feel like their culture, the way they have been galvanized with the move of having Russell Wilson at the quarterback position, Mike Tomlin loving to muddy these games up, I really feel like it's going to be a Mike Tomlin special in this one. And with the questions about the Philadelphia Eagles that are now coming out of house, we saw Brandon Graham in an interview saying that old-time buddies A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, well, there's some quarreling going on there. And now even Terrell Owens is stepping in and saying, it's not that big of a deal. Well, I'm here to tell you, it is a big deal. When your number one receiver and your quarterback aren't on the same page, I have some concerns there. I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Pete, I saw you doing some math in your head.
No, I was trying to figure out, you guys don't remember, but these teams were once, I don't remember either because I wasn't around them, but I know the history of the league. They were once merged together and they were the Steagles.
Oh,
Steagles.
Look it up.
That's real life.
That's true.
Back when you were a kid?
Back when I was a kid, back when might have been a glean in my grandpa's.
It was like, that couldn't have been 59 years ago. I remember
not even my dad's glean in his eyes, my grandpappy. No.
That's back when cavalry rode horses.
You gave in. You gave in. You're afraid of the Steeler Nation. You gave in.
No, I had nothing to do with that.
What's going on with you guys and the Steelers?
Look, I went to the place when they used to call it Heinz, Acrisure now. I went to Heinz Field as a rookie, and we punched those guys right in the mouth. We beat them on that. I don't have any fear in my heart,
but when you got the helmet on, it's one thing, but now you're taking it from Steeler Nation, and you gave in, you picked the Steelers.
Here we go.
Here you go, Steelers.
This is a team of destiny, man.
He's going to have a terrible towel soon. He gave in, but you know what? I didn't give in. I'm taking the Eagles. I think the Eagles will physically maul them in the run game, and I think they're going to have success. I know it's 5.5 points. That's telling you.
Here we go.
And by the way, 59 years, I'm sticking with the history. I'm taking the Eagles.
I thought when you pointed your finger on the desk, you were going to look straight into the camera and give a message to Steelers Nation. I felt it was coming. Here's your opportunity if you want to do it.
Not me. Look, they are killing me, and deservedly so, because I said they would finish last in the division. You're not finishing last, but you're not winning it all either.
Oh, all right. Also, I caught you a couple times trying to fact check my math.
Well, the look on his face, he was like, that couldn't have been 59 years ago.
Yes, it was.
Well, you did the math in your head. It took you a while.
I know how old I am.
The look on your face.
I know. I was just trying to remember when the Steagles were. That's what I'm trying to think. Go look and see when the Steagles were.
All right.
It's amazing.
Okay, so Pete's not afraid of Steeler Nation.
He is.
He's going
backed out.
Kyle might be. I don't know.
Please, Steelers Nation, leave me alone.
Okay, we have to go to the Bucs and the Chargers. When I look at this matchup, I think, I don't know, who do I trust more in the situation? I'm not really sure. Pete, what do you like here? Because Chargers, they were 2.5-point favorites, total at 46 and a hook.
This was a tough game for me to pick.
Yeah.
And it really is. I think it's a really underrated game of the whole week. Both these teams are really good. I think the Chargers will find a way being back home after what happened the other night. They really look good on defense. They did some good things. It's going to be a tough challenge for the Bucs. Long trip. I'll take the Chargers.
Yo, Quentin Johnston catching the football.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love to see that. That being said, I think the line should be like 3.5, 4 maybe for this game. But I'm going to pick the Chargers in this one at home. Long way to go for the Buccaneers. And it's tough because I love Baker Mayfield and this Bucs offense. But I think that what we've seen from Jim Harbaugh and his team, they compete week in, week out. I love this Chargers group.
Well, maybe the Chargers will win by 2.5 and you can get a push.
There you go.
Get a push. All right. It is now time for our Durs and... Oh no, it's Prisco.
Get that graphic off the screen.
Look at that.
3-11 last week.
It is so bad.
You're dragging Kyle down with you. He was 5-9.
You know, I actually tried different things this week and it still failed. But here's how bad things are going for me. The Cowboys were one of my picks. Okay, and
you always have an excuse.
What happened? Oh, I should cover that game, shouldn't I? The block punt, they botch it, and then they go get a touchdown.
So you'd be 97 and 124.
I know, but still, I got to take it.
There's make or break game.
There's been about 20 of those this year. I've been on the wrong side of all of them.
Well, look who's back. I don't know where the hell she's been for the last 2
I've
weeks.
been kicked off the show
Jacqueline is here.
I didn't know that Power Rankings and the picks were in the same show.
She's like, well, it's Tuesday. We're not doing.
Been gone so long. You know, didn't get the memo.
What we have for the last.
Well, the audience craves these picks on Tuesday now because they love our records. They're so good.
We get killed by these Steelers fans, don't we?
Oh, still.
In particular,
I literally opened Twitter, and it's like a daily occurrence where Pete is clapping back at someone from Pittsburgh who's talking to you. Yeah.
They hate me.
We'll see if you pick them in their matchup. We'll get to that in just a moment. But we're starting with the Rams and the Niners, and this division has been crazy. It seems like it's impossible to pick who's going to win the division. There's a new division leader every other week. Niners are 2.5-point favorites. They're kind of, I mean, they look pretty good. good.
They were hot this past week. They killed my best bet.
They really did. Kyle, where are you at on this matchup?
That being said, I am going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. I just feel like they're hitting their stride offensively. It's tough to match that production. But that also being said, Brock Purdy looked like a guy who's earned every single penny of that contract he's going to fall into this season. I'm going to pick the Rams, though, in this one.
Spin me around, spin me around, spin me around. I'll be dizzy and I'll point at one of them. I'll do better than I do when I normally pick the two. Seriously. But I'm going to go
Roll me around.
Niners.
Oh, you want Niners?
I'm taking the Niners. I think that's a prideful franchise. We saw that last week. They still have life. They still can win the division.
Shanahan's
they still
a wizard.
have talents, and Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. And I think the Niners will find a way to win this game. Going out on the road on a short week is tough to do, particularly in the division. I'm going to take the Niners.
Isaac Guerrendo might be out, but I mean, you guys said last week it doesn't matter who the running back is.
Yeah, take the yellow jacket off the security guy at the tunnel and just give him a helmet and tell him you run it right there inside the tackle's left leg.
$120.
We're going to get you 8 yards of pop.
You're rubbing off on him when it comes to
He's learning a lot from me. He really is.
Kyle Shanahan is pretty good when it comes to putting offensive linemen in situations where they have good leverage. He's not asking them to do things that they can't do. So you go out there. Football doesn't have to be that complicated. Shanahan makes it that way.
And his father used to do the same thing. The running backs everywhere.
The first place team in that division is playing on Sunday Night Football. It's the Seahawks at home against the Packers. And Pete, right now, this would be the wild card matchup in the NFC, or one of them, the first round of the playoffs.
But I don't think we'll have the Fail Mary here. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we'll have that. But I think the Packers, they've lost 4 games. 1 to the Eagles, 2 to the Lions, 1 to the Vikings. 3 of the best teams in the league, and they've lost the total by a total of 20 points. This team is good. And I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, so I'm not going to back away from it. I still think they're dangerous, and we haven't seen the best of them yet. We're going to start seeing the best of them. We started to see it against the Lions. I think we'll see it here. I think they go into Seattle and win the game outright.
Yeah, there's a few of these teams.
Well, aren't they 3-point favorites here?
Yeah.
They got to win by more than 3.
They'll win by 7.
They'll win by 3.5.
They'll win by 7. They'll win by touchdown.
I said they're going to win by 3.5. The Packers are going to win. That's just what I feel like. This Seattle team is surging, but so are the Packers, I feel like. But it doesn't reflect in that win-loss column. I think about their game against Detroit. They easily could have handled that team, but they didn't. It was a tough spot on the road. I'm going to go with the Packers here. I think they're hitting their stride. We haven't seen the best of Jordan Love yet, and I think it's going to be coming in the next few weeks.
Okay, in Canada, you get a point for a rouge when you punt the ball into the end zone. You've now
a rouge.
A rouge.
Okay.
You've now, or a single as they call it in Canada, but you've now come up with where you get a half a point.
Yeah, free and a rouge.
That's a half a rouge.
Let's go. I got the Packers.
You're going to win by 3.5.
Kyle, we have to talk about your Bears once again.
We do?
Yeah, we do. They're facing the Vikings, and these are 2 teams going in 2 totally different directions. The Bears have lost 7 straight. Vikings are trying to win 7 straight, and we're still wondering, at least me personally, when is Sam Darnold going to turn into Sam Darnold?
You read the top of my column today.
I didn't.
That's
I wish I did.
That's what I wrote.
I said it yesterday, too.
When is Sam Darnold?
It seems like he's getting better, though.
Haven't I been saying that? I've been saying that all year, and I can sit here right now and say I'm wrong. I don't think he's turning into Sam Darnold. I think Kevin O'Connell has fixed him. He's made him a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback, but he's made him into a good quarterback. He's playing with confidence. He has great receivers. He can throw the ball around. The Bears, we saw them last week. That's not a good look. I think the Vikings handle them and blow them out.
It's amazing what can happen as a quarterback when you've got great receivers, good protection on the edges, and you've got a brilliant head coach that's an offensive-minded guy. With that being said, I've got Sam Darnold and the Vikings covering the 7 against the Bears. It was a little bit embarrassing, and it was uninspiring watching that effort with their brand new interim coach in Santa Clara last week.
Yeah, what happened to the bump?
Thomas Brown and the Bears, they forgot about the bump. Okay, that was my best bet, and I'm sorry for those of you at home who have been tailing me on best bets, and I hammered home that they were going to get this juice from Thomas Brown and this offense. We're still looking for it, okay? I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Bears have lost 7 straight games. Vikings going for their 7th straight win. At one point, Bears were 4-2, Vikings were 5-2, and the seasons have gone totally opposite since. Let's go to the other Monday Night Football game. So that Bears-Vikings game kicks off at 8, and then 30 minutes later, it's a staggered kickoff, not a doubleheader. What do we call it? A double dipper, I think is what we decided to call it.
Why are they doing this with these games?
Falcons. This is going to be the Family Guy broadcast. No, I wish that would be that.
Buddy, that was the tweet last night.
That would be something. Falcons 4.5-point favorites in Vegas against the Raiders, and the Falcons now out of first place in the division.
I'm going to be going with the Raiders, and I think their guy Aiden O'Connell, who left in an air cast on a cart with a bone bruise.
That's the most amazing thing ever.
It's going to be back in there. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the optics of it. Okay, I thought it was a
you're laughing at
season-ending injury, but it turns out it wasn't. That being said, I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders. Aiden O'Connell's been doing more than serviceable job with that offense.
I mean, look, you're not laughing. I mean, you're glad he's not hurt. That's the best
was
thing.
like, man, that sucks. He's been playing well.
And it was a dirty hit. He got pushed late out of bounds, and you thought that he broke his leg or something.
It was a freak deal.
And they put him in an air cast.
It was like one of those soccer injuries, right? Where the guy gets taken off. It's like he's paralyzed, and now he's back in the game.
And now he might play this week. And if he plays, I think they hang around in this game. Look, the Falcons have looked awful. I'm going to take.
Is Penix playing or is Cousins playing?
Attention, Raider Nation. The news we have today is crucial to the present and future of our team. Before we get into the details, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to keep up with everything happening in Las Vegas. Now, let's get to the information. Quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who has become a key name in this difficult season, has been diagnosed with a bone bruise in his left knee after the game against the Buccaneers. Although he has not yet been ruled out for Monday's game against the Falcons, the Raiders are already taking precautions. During the game, O'Connell completed 11 of 19 passes for 104 yards and 1 interception before leaving with an injury. His absence could force coach Antonio Pierce to rely on Desmond Ridder as a starter for the rest of the season. Ridder, 25, has experience as a starter for the Falcons, but he comes in with a lot to prove after 2 difficult years in the league. This is his moment to stand out and make it clear that he has a place in the NFL. In addition, the Raiders have made important moves. They have promoted quarterback Carter Bradley from the practice squad and have signed Jake Luton to reinforce the position. This shows that the coaching staff is preparing for a scenario without O'Connell on the field. On the other hand, bad news also reaches the ground game. Running back Zamir White, who was one of the main hopes after the departure of Josh Jacobs, has been placed on injured reserve due to a quadriceps injury. White closes the season with disappointing numbers: 183 yards in 8 games, an average of just 2.8 yards per carry. With a record of 2-11 and 9 consecutive losses, the Raiders face a season-ending season full of uncertainty. This final stretch will be key to evaluating the performance of players like Ridder and determining the team's needs ahead of the 2025 draft, where everything points to a new quarterback being sought. The question for you, Raider Nation: should the Raiders continue to bet on Ridder or look for a radical change in the draft? Leave us your opinion in the comments and don't forget to stay tuned for more exclusive news. Go Raiders!